It's Dan the podcast man, and I'm all about highlighting people's journeys, and I'm on the hunt looking for incredible people with stories that deserve to be told. Hey everybody, it is Dan the podcast man. Welcome to a special episode of Highlighting the Journey. We are here in beautiful North Carolina, and Lake Hickory is right behind me. My guest today is a dear friend of mine, Rachel Crooks.
Hi, Dan.
Well, welcome. I'm so happy to finally actually have you in front of me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about this.
Are you nervous?
Maybe a tad, because I've never been in this situation before, but hey, I'm ready to do my first podcast.
I love it. So, we've known each other for, a few years now.
Yeah.
And I have noticed something obviously very incredible of knowing about your business and what you do. And you're one of those people I actually look up to. I watch you and I watch your husband, Ricky, and I see two people that align with the way I think, and I love it. I love it. I love the idea of it. And one of the biggest things that, was when we first met you and I heard about you is that, what do you own? You own some Airbnbs?
I own some Airbnbs, and kind of got into that game a little while ago, and it's definitely something I have really found out that I love doing. So
how did that kind of transpire? How did you was there let me ask you a little bit better. Was there somebody feeding you information, but you knew you wanted to own a rental property? What was the breakdown behind all that?
It was actually a pretty organic process. So in going into that, I might need to give a little bit more backstory.
Sure, go ahead.
So
we got
is that okay if I go ahead and throw that out there?
Shoot it out.
All right. So I started my career as a teacher, biology teacher, awesome. In North Carolina. Was doing my thing, loved it, could have been a lifer, just absolutely loved the whole process of teaching, coaching. I coached swimming and track, did all that. So that got me really kind of just used to that go, hustle, kind of pace. And I started doing a little bit of curriculum and some designing curriculum and a little bit of consulting, working with some other teachers. And
I just want to pause right there.
Sure.
How does that happen? Does somebody give you information, or it's you see somebody else doing something like that?
In public education, and I'm very passionate about public education.
No, I know you are, and we're going to get into
that. There is a need for more structured content, because a lot of times, especially new teachers, they get into a classroom, they get a textbook thrown at them. In my case, it was probably a 10-year-old textbook,
really? Okay,
and you're just kind of thrown to the wolves, right? And so for me, in college, I got my degree in biology and a licensure in education. So I had a few really great education classes. And then I did my student teaching. And what happened was, when I got in there, I really did feel thrown to the wolves. But luckily, I had great administration. I had a great team. Yeah. And so they really let me teach the way I wanted to teach. And I was so into it. I'd stay up late nights working on my own stuff, trying to figure out what's the best way to do this.
So hold on one second. This is what I'm loving so far. We already started this podcast and we're already getting into this incredible mindset of yours where you see some type of opportunity, you see some type of way of doing something better. You're not satisfied with what you're seeing out there. How can I make this better?
Exactly, yeah. And I think a lot of teachers do that. And then so I hadn't taken the leap to actually getting out of the classroom at that point. I taught for 4 years. And then during that time, I was gung-ho teaching, coaching, doing the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Again, loving the job, loving just the interaction with the students. That was my absolute favorite part. And I swear, I could have been a lifer. I'm a child of a teacher.
What do you mean by a lifer, though?
Oh, career teacher.
So you would have been you would have been perfectly satisfied if you were a teacher today for the rest of your life. Are you sure about that?
I would have in that mindset, right? And part of that is because I was raised by a teacher, right? So I had a great upbringing, a modest upbringing, but a great, I had a phenomenal teacher as a mom. And she actually taught at my high school. So I got to have her as a teacher. Love this. Yeah. And so yeah, that kind of, I grew up kind of wanting to do the whole medical route because she had been in teaching, or she had been in nursing before she got into teaching. She did lateral entry, which is where you come from a field, you take some classes, get your credentials, and then you're certified to be a teacher in whatever state you choose.
Wow.
You know, you do X amount of requirements for that state. And she did that when I was a child, so she transitioned into that role as a teacher and just excelled, right? Like she was an award-winning teacher.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like
she was-
award-winning, like what do you mean by that?
So she
did
she
she
was
get?
involved in HOSA. So HOSA is Health Occupation Students of America. It's actually a club I was in high school, and she took students all over the country to competition, national things, and I was on the speech team. I did all that stuff. So it was fun to be the teacher's daughter with that, but I saw her just rock starring it. And when I think I was about 8 years old, she actually won an award that came with a $25,000 cash prize.
Ooh.
For a teacher. That's massive, right? Especially back in like 90 whatever. And my parents were so cool. They were always on a budget, always very frugal. My brother and I had been saving up in an apple juice jar for a pool.
Hell yeah.
And
Got to start somewhere. Let's use the apple juice jar.
Yep. And we had a kids club. We did all kinds of stuff. But when my mom came home with that knowledge that she had won that, she said, "We're putting in a pool." And she put in a pool.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah.
So she splurged.
Yeah, she splurged.
Oh, man.
And they built the fence around it themselves, did all that, had never done that before. But the reason I bring it all up is that segued me into swimming, became my, career sport. I started by swimming in college, kind of bailed on that because I went a little above my head on that. But
Before you keep going,
yeah.
because you mentioned so many incredible
Yeah.
things. I don't want to
digress.
I don't want to lose sight of everything because then me personally, I'm going to forget. But you mentioned so many incredible things, and now hearing this, I know you personally. I'm like, now everything makes sense. Now everything makes sense.
Right.
How everything came about and where you built everything.
Yeah.
So you're watching your mother do this thing and push. So as a child, people don't realize, well, I'm starting to realize now, especially that we have kids now, is like how effective kids are and how they can absorb what their parents are actually really
oh
doing.
my goodness, right.
You don't really think too much into, oh, the kid's a kid, he's hanging around,
Yep.
but they're absorbing everything you're doing. So you're absorbing what your mother is doing and getting
Yep.
her passion. So
if you're being passionate as a parent, your child is going to be a better person because of it.
Bingo. And God, I love it. So like, I'm like, well, Cannon has some big shoes to fill.
Well, we'll see how we do.
But and another thing you mentioned was like you're watching outdated curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear the craziest thing, and you might have something even more crazier. I was in my history class, and high school.
Mm-hmm.
We were about to go over the map of the landscape.
Yeah.
They pulled down the map. Russia was not Russia, it was USSR.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Have you encountered that?
Well, I have never encountered that specific instance.
I just remember
but yeah.
seeing USSR. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
Russia.
Like, wait, I think we need to update this, right?
And then I looked at the map. It was like dated 1985. Like,
Yeah.
if that's correct. But
Yeah.
But so let's get back on track. You were swimming didn't work out.
Well, yeah. So, the reason I bring up that whole part of the story, first, my mom being incredible, showing me that path of being passionate about something. But also, whenever she decided to make that big change and put in that pool, it changed our lives because my brother and I had access to this luxury and this privilege, and it gave me a sport. I had never had a sport that I excelled at, and it became my identity. I got really passionate about that, and that alone taught me discipline, right? So these are all the factors that kind of roll into, making you the adult you're going to become, right?
Of course.
And so I had always wanted to go into more healthcare because my mom had been a nurse prior. I was always very interested in that. But whenever I was in high school, my job that, I did to supplement income and stuff was a lifeguard and a swim coach. And that is where I was like, I remember coming home one day and telling my Mom, I think I want to be a teacher. And I just remember thinking, like, I had gone from thinking 6-figure salary to $30K a year. And I was like, but I love it.
But the money doesn't matter.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
Where Well, it's not that I don't understand it. It's because we live in a place where it is very difficult, even especially at times like this, where everything's very excessive, and it's like survival. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm a human being and I have to pay to live, and it sucks. But when you're driven in passion, like me, I'm passionate about what I do. I don't care about the money. For me now, because I got into certain levels, the money's a bonus for me now.
Right, right.
But you mentioned two really good things. So the pool got installed.
Yeah.
That was a luxury item. So you
Yeah.
were living very frugally.
Yeah.
So you experienced living on a budget, living on a I want to say poor, but more on the conservative side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I lived that same lifestyle. You know, for me it was like we ate pasta every single night except Friday and Saturday. That was meat night, but that's how conservative we had to be
Right,
with
yeah,
our
on a
meals.
budget. Yeah.
And then when we started to when my father got into a better career and started making more money, and then we were like, wow,
Yeah.
you start to appreciate those things.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about your story is that you got the luxury item, and it's like, oh, let me throw a pool party. No, I'm gonna become I'm gonna swim and become a lifeguard. Like you utilize that luxury tool. You were given luxury, and it wasn't like just because you were given luxury. You're like, oh wow, I have an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. And it changed the course of my whole life.
Did
you
you,
know?
by the way, when you did the lifeguard thing, do you have to rescue like the brick out of the water and stuff? Like how does that work?
There were like, I guess, dummies and stuff you would do. It's kind of fuzzy now. It's interesting. I haven't thought about that training in a long time.
Mom fog?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Always a little bit of that. But yeah, we had to do like the pool training where you're pulling things back. I don't think I ever did a brick, but they had like the dummies and you had to like dive down and get stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. But I never did anything more intense than like a country club pool or like, community
Okay.
swim teams, like, because
Not a
I
beach-
never
not-
did like a beach lifeguard
Oh,
thing.
okay.
I almost did because I went to school in Wilmington, and that was a goal of mine, but I never did that.
So where did you go to school?
UNCW. So
Okay.
UNC Wilmington. It's just one of the North Carolina public colleges in that system. But yeah, which is a beach town for anybody who's not native to North Carolina. But yeah, that whole part of my life took that path because all of a sudden I fell in love with this job that I would have never had otherwise, which also was supported by the fact that my mom was a teacher. So it all kind of came together in the
a
best way
nice feeling.
possible. Yeah, yeah. And like you said, I didn't care about, and as a teenager, you don't really think like what a different life it's going to be if you're, an underpaid, overworked teacher
course.
versus, possibly a doctor, nurse practitioner with tons of medical, school debt, getting to that. There's all kinds of factors that come into
Oh,
play.
of course, yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into the teaching. Like I said, I'll never forget coming home and just saying like, all right, Mom, you were right. Like I should try this teaching thing. So
I don't even know what's your actual like. You're obviously married. What's your last name when you were a teacher?
Kidwell. Yep.
So Mrs. Kidwell.
Yep, Miss Kidwell.
Any teasing names? Any joking names on you?
Oh,
Come on, kids are cruel sometimes. I want to know.
no, my kids were pretty good to
Okay.
me. They were,
Did you-
and like I came in, I was teaching high school. They were about 5 to 6 years younger than me. So that was kind of fun, interesting, but never a dull moment. And it was hard to kind of come in and be in that position of leadership. But
So what age were you at that?
I was 22.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're right.
It is, because even me, got a New York City construction license, age 23. I'm building a 42-story building.
Imposter syndrome, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a constant theme in my life. So.
I recently had that in the early months about even doing the podcast, my new job. I'm like, who the hell am I? And then I talked to a lot of close friends of mine. I'm like, Dan, you're right where we're supposed to be, man. Lean right into it.
Yeah,
Lean into
good
it.
for
So
you.
22 years old, teacher,
Yes.
and then
So I was in the classroom for 4 years. And during that time, I don't want to say, like I said, I loved the job. I loved the job aspect. I loved my students, loved going to work every day, like somehow. It never really got me down. It was just a great thing in my life. And then it just became life and demands and bills and
Reality kicks in.
yeah. And so I tried to start supplementing a little. I was very careful about doing some curriculum development on my own time. And so like I started.
Why is that? Why you scared? Why was that? Is it because I hear this? There's only what I know. I'm obviously I wasn't in that background. I hear there's a lot of politics involved when it comes to teaching and curriculums and
Yeah.
what could be put out there.
Well, and it really wasn't even so much about that. I just wanted to be fully committed to my job as that
Gotcha.
the teacher in the classroom. And so, it'd be like if you're going to work, for your W-2 job and then you're working on your own personal things. You're not going to do that stuff. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. And so what I did was I just kind of started testing the waters, had some contributions, some not financial, but just ideas, some teamwork was involved. But ultimately, I started just developing this curriculum, and it got to a point where I was ready to step outside the classroom and give it a go, and it was a risk. And
Of course, it's a risk. And what age?
Yeah.
What, 26? You said it was
so
4
about
years.
26, yep,
So
4
26,
years in.
6-year-old. You're about
Yeah.
to step into the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea. No one's
Yeah.
is anybody coaching you through this?
Not really. Like I said, I had some contacts who were
Supportive.
somewhat familiar with the process, and
Got
then
it.
of course I had people doing some more of the work for me that wasn't my forte. I'm not a business person, right? I wasn't at that time. And so that was intimidating, like I grew up doing public speaking, but I was like, had this crippling fear about talking about my own stuff, right? Like, because again, imposter syndrome. I just felt like, how is this something that I can help other teachers when they're looking at me like, you don't know what you're talking about?
But you didn't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I did, and it's been a really good thing. It was the stepping stone. There's a lot of stepping stones, but that's the stepping stone that
100%.
then
I love that
led
term,
me.
by the way. I love that term, stepping stone. It's true. It's the path.
Yeah. So, and then that's what organically led me into real estate, and then I can go into that story whenever you're ready for that one.
Well, I am. It's just, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by, that's why I love doing this podcast too, is, I know it's like you know the person, but there's certain questions, is like, how would you sit down and like pull all this information out of you? And now I'm like, now I
It's true.
have a different perspective on you right now. And for me to be your friend and to have a different perspective, like, wow. And the thing about all this, and the reason I'm bringing all this up, is that a lot of people, especially like me right now, you see what I'm doing on social media. I'm like a lot of houses, a lot of this, a lot of business, shooting content. And everybody's like, wow, oh my God. But it's like, I'm an overnight success story. I'm not by any means. You're not by
Yeah.
any means. And there is a process, a stepping stone process. And I
Right.
want to bring that to light, that you were questioning. There was probably self-doubt, fear, anxiety, all these things. And to step out of what you're told in school, get a good job, get a good job, stick with a
Yes.
W-2,
Yes.
invest in your 401k. And now, like everybody's told that. And again, I say this every time, and I'll repeat myself, I am not knocking that lifestyle.
Right. Absolutely.
If people want to do that, by all means. Like, I have family members that are perfectly happy that way, and they're content, and there's nothing wrong. But you have a different mindset, because it sounds like your mother brought you up in that realm. My father was like that. I watched my father come home from work, but then he's like, hop in the van, we're going to a rental property to go
That's
work.
cool. That's very cool.
But at the time I didn't know, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, we gotta go to work. Why?
Yeah.
And now I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I should be absorbing everything.
Right.
But
Right. If you could go back. Right?
But I did. I did absorb enough.
Yeah.
Because even one of the last properties, I did an analysis on it. He bought this house like 1996. He sold it in 2013.
Okay.
Bought the house for like $180,000. The rent from that time period brought him over like $200,000. Then he sold the house for like $400,000 because of the equity.
Right.
And if that's not like one of the most powerful tools, like, I'm like, holy crap.
Right. Right. And it seems almost too good to be true at
It
times.
is.
Yeah. But it takes a lot of work to get there, but it takes more work more than anything, it's the learning. It's the confidence to step into that, you know?
Before we dive into the real estate, what was there anything that, so you're making the curriculum now, you got that under your belt, so you're starting to do that, and now how did the real estate portion, was there a book, was there so I have my book and like my moment, like do you have a moment?
Okay, yes, I do have a moment. It's a very, like I said, very organic process that
I
happened.
love how you're
but-
smiling though, so
Yeah.
keep going, keep going.
So what happened for me was I would go to these conferences, right? Like a teacher conference
Okay.
where I'm there putting my heart out on the table, like, you know, meeting teachers and saying, hey, here's my curriculum. And so, you know, I'm from North Carolina.
What does that mean, by the way?
So every state has a different curriculum. So yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
So-
thought like because you're from North Carolina that you're better than us New Yorkers.
No.
I just wanted, like, but I feel that way now. I was the opposite. I'm like, you guys are crazy for living in North Carolina, and then I'm like, oh my God, this place is beautiful.
Yeah, you
Why am
know,
I
to
not
each
living
his
here?
own. Yeah, it has its caveats, but it's got a lot of good
But okay,
stuff
so is
too.
the curriculum based out of North Carolina?
Yeah, and so just because that's what I knew, that's where I was kind of consulting with teachers. I was doing a lot of teacher trainings and that thing. Now that I was out of the classroom, I was in other schools. So that was a really cool opportunity. And then doing these conferences, what it became was figuring out, like, should I go to another state and be like, hey, this is what the tools I have?
Ooh.
Are you interested in this? And so I did like some little test runs. And so ultimately what it became was, you know, working with schools in the Southeast.
Hold it right there.
Sure.
You're bringing up something like a test run. How do you do, like, so if you can kind of break down that test run, like, so you got something in your brain, because people always want information of like how to take this step. And the test run sounds like the idea of like, let me try something else. Like, so
Yeah.
like, are you able to elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. Yeah. I'll give you an example of what worked and what didn't work.
Okay, perfect.
So I did some conferences in South Carolina.
Yep.
Had some success. Teachers bought into it. They went to their administrators. They said, "Hey, yeah, we love this. Like, you know, we can hire for, you know, consulting, curriculum, what have you." And then I did another conference in New Orleans, and same type of thing. Developed a little, you know, tailored a
network.
program for New Orleans curriculum with some consulting work, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do this conference, I got nothing out of New Orleans. And I could have continued to push and try, but what I realized was it was more quality of where I was based. Like, you know, it was more specialized, right? So I need to specialize in these certain areas instead of trying to expanding it too big.
So-
and that's what worked for me.
So this is the important thing. What I think where people stop maybe trying to step out of the box, you could have went to New Orleans and then all of a sudden say, this isn't cut out for me.
Yes, exactly.
And pack my bags.
Yep.
And then I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm just
Yep.
going to be a teacher.
Yep.
But you still, like, that's why I try to tell people all the time, not everything's going to work. Everybody has different paths and different lifestyles.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you had the courage to say, you know what, did you think about quitting?
No.
And that's what I fucking love. And that's what I love. People that don't have that have the mindset, it's like, I just never thought about quitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not quitting.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's not working here. It's got to work somewhere. Hey, there's something's working. I got to find that fine tuning, and it looks like you did. So
Yeah. And I did learn a lot through that process, that going to states that I wasn't as familiar with, not as networked with, it wasn't going to be worth my time to
Yes.
try to expand in that direction. I needed to grow in quantity in the areas that I was in, like physically. So, which is why North Carolina is, you know, it's a North Carolina-based company. Our North Carolina customers love us. But
it's your
yeah,
backyard. It's your backyard.
exactly.
It's your home. You know the people.
Yep.
You know the culture. Every state's different. You know, I'm from New York. We have a certain way, but you guys, everybody has their own way of living. It's kind of like I always hear, like, you know, actually the truck I rented, it has a Texas license plate, but I've heard like a New Yorker going to Texas is like,
Right.
don't even try to start building here because Texas will kick your ass. Like that's that's like word on the street. But it's like, yeah, you know your environment, you know where to find the right people. And that's why also I tell people, like so for me, Long Island, Long Island has very big numbers when it comes to real estate.
Right.
You see the numbers I'm dealing with, and you're probably like, holy crap. But I know my backyard. I know my
Yep.
customer base.
Yep, that's big.
But if I come to North Carolina, honest to God, I wouldn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah, but there comes the power of networking too.
Well,
so.
100%. So the whole curriculum, you figured it out. So it started scaling up. You started scaling your business, it sounds like.
Yeah, and so, like I said, I kind of learned the lesson that I didn't need to necessarily go into other states, more really focus on my own home state. But what happened in going to those conferences is I did a conference in Alabama. And I set up my booth, and I can get a little stressed out sometimes, right? So like I was a little nervous.
Really, you seem chill. You're a really chill person. I've been on vacation with you a few times, and you're really cool, calm, and collected. I don't think I've seen you get mad actually. So I don't know. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, you can ask my husband about that.
Okay.
No, I mean I try to be as laid back as I can, just because life's more fun that way. But
Yeah.
I can get a little bit just nervous, right? Like just a little bit scared to put yourself out there. So when it is something that you are behind and you believe in, it's like putting your heart out on your sleeve, you know, like.
So the thing with that, and this is the other thing, when the fear component comes in, and people ask themselves, I don't know what to do, and it's like, I'm fearful of this. That's exactly what you should be doing. You should be fearful.
Yeah.
It's part of the process. You should be scared.
It's a biological response.
100%.
Yep.
Yep. So you were scared in Alabama?
So I'm putting up I was a little bit late, I think, putting up stuff on the table. And like, these are not like high-end trade shows, like with like huge tech, like hanging down everywhere. Like these are teacher conferences, right? So you're putting out curriculum, you're putting out, you know, ideas. There's museums that are there
So
set
who are the
up.
buyers in that? So is it like the school districts? Who,
So
like,
yeah, usually
Okay.
school districts or individual schools, they have their own budgets and that type of thing. So, you
Gotcha.
know, it's just, a lot of it is to get teachers out in front of new products, new
Gotcha.
ideas. So I pull in there, or I am setting up the booth, and I'm a little nervous. I was a little behind schedule. I think I had a presentation I was going to go do. And I'm next to this guy who's got like tiki grass laid out. He's just walking around in like the Hawaiian shirt, doing his thing, and
He's chilling?
just chill, right? And he's just slow talking, like, man, welcome to Alabama. What are you doing here, North Carolinians? And well, it turns out he ran. I don't have permission to talk about his business, so I
Oh, no, it's
don't want
fine,
to
but-
say it. But
Don't say his business,
Okay.
but so we have this individual that.
Yes.
Yeah, so okay, so.
so what he essentially did was he had come from a youth group. He had a property where he hosted youth groups
Okay.
through churches, and it was a beach retreat. So he was advertising field trips. He had just started a marine science field trip, and he needed help. And he's an older gentleman. He was working with a PhD marine biologist who was providing him with some of the content. He was actually directing his field trips. And he's like, you come down to Alabama. And so I did. And his wife was a property manager.
Ooh. Before we keep going,
Okay.
so with this individual, what I love about this individual, he shows up at this conference, the way you explained it, right? And his confidence level's through the roof. He doesn't give a crap about anything.
Absolutely. That is one thing I love about that man to this day.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And like, and he's just like, oh, he invites you to this, gave you an opportunity, like, hey, check this out. And now you're just like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, I like to bring that up because now I'm developing that attitude where I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? It happens, doesn't happen, then, oh, whatever, just.
Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful. It's a powerful tool.
But the thing was too, it's when you're trying to break out of the norm, you're trying to get yourself out of it. You're like, I know there's something better. I just got to keep pushing. It's always, for me, it was like the first real estate house. Was the
Right.
first deal was always the hardest one.
Yeah.
It always is. And then when I got past that, I'm like, oh my God. Now I go up to a house, I'm like, here's my offer price. I'm not manipulating the price. The deal needs to work for me. I don't need to work for the deal. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. And you have to have that mindset if you're going to continue in that business, any
You're
type of business.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if you
it's
sit
huge.
there, if you sit there and say, oh man, I can make it work because I just want to be a people pleaser, it sucks because it seems like you're that type of person. You want to help, but you can't say yes all the time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. I am very much a people pleaser, and that has been one of the biggest obstacles to overcome.
Of course.
So, are we good with the
We're
yard
good.
noise? Okay.
We're good, right?
Um,
Yep. Thumbs up.
But yeah, so do you want me to go back into where, like,
So
how that all happened?
let me.
Yeah, okay.
I'll reshoot it. Real estate. You go down to Tennessee, Alabama or Tennessee?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Gulf Coast of Alabama.
Will I ever go there? Should I go there?
Yes.
Okay, but go on.
It's surprisingly wonderful. I didn't even know Alabama had beaches at the time. There's that little tiny.
Now you're lying
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, yep, they've got beaches.
Is it a beach or is it a lake?
It's well, a little bit of everything. There's a bay, Mobile Bay.
What's the type of
So-
food? What's the number one food there? What's like the best thing to get there?
Like if you go from out of town at the beach, one of the big staples is crab claws. Yeah, like you just like pick up this like barbaric crab claws like left on it and like the meat's ready to go and you just,
And that's it.
that's the crab claw.
When you
man.
go there, are you running to that?
I don't go specifically for that. I go for the oysters. So
I love oysters.
but yeah, only in months that end in R, okay? Because it's southern, it's warm water. You go in the colder season for oysters.
Now,
there.
did you learn that in Alabama?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So you're down
And
there.
my biology background. There's a lot of stuff that goes.
We got the
with that.
teacher. We got
I dabble in a lot of things.
Or it's a girl thing, and we're just coming up with cool slogans. You're down in Alabama now. You were invited by this person there, this youth group, right?
Yeah, so it's the man who runs that operation. His wife, who property manages, I guess it was somebody she managed a condo for. I get to stay in this beachfront condo for free, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Why were
Like-
you able to stay there for free? Because of them?
Because yeah, his wife put me
Okay,
up there because
gotcha.
she managed it. She knew they had a last minute vacancy. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
I got you, you know. So I'm sitting there like sitting on the balcony of that place, and I open up Zillow, and I'm like, I got to do this. So
And what? So let's build a little bit of a timeline.
2014, 2015, 2014.
So, the timeline wise, well, how old were you at 2014? I'm sorry, I know
Yeah, you're gonna-
it's
you're
not.
gonna
It's
age
inappropriate
me
to ask a
here.
woman's age. I'm sorry.
Well, I have to do some math. Hold on.
Oh.
No, it would have been. It was 2014. Yeah,
So how-
because I was fresh out of teaching in
So it's halfway.
2013.
Gotcha.
I left the classroom after. I started in 2009, 2010.
It's okay. We got all day.
12, 13. Yes, I left the summer of 2013, the
Okay.
classroom. And then by that next year, I had met him, and yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's, like I said,
So I'm sorry. How old were you there?
that would have put me at what, 27?
Okay, so 27, doing all that. Now it's like you're seeing opportunities, and then you're like, I gotta look at Zillow.
Yeah, and Zillow became my best friend. So I already loved Zillow because when I graduated college, there was a first-time homebuyer's tax credit, $8,000
I remember that.
off. Yeah.
Yep.
And I tried desperately to get that. And then plans change, met people, your life ends up in a certain direction. I lived with my parents for a little while, which was awesome. Huge privilege if you can live with your parents. I did, try to help out where I could, and I tried not to be just a complete leech on them. But man, that was powerful for me. That first year teaching, I wasn't making a lot of money as a 4-year degree new.
And thank you for first normalizing that and being
Yeah.
humble about that.
Yeah.
Me and Alexa lived in my parents' house. I saved up for our first house. I bought that house, didn't even live in the house,
Yeah.
and rented it out.
Yes.
Because what did I need? Me and Alexa needed a living room, a bedroom, and a kitchen.
Yep.
Conservatively.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I wanted to build something from there, and I was cool living with my parents
Right.
until, well, we got a little tired of it.
It
you know?
runs its course,
It runs
right?
its course. Laundry gets mixed up. We got it. It is time to move out. But I'm very happy that you bring that up. People are just like, I don't want to move back home with my parents. What, to save money?
Yeah, right.
You want to keep up with whatever lifestyle you want to go,
Yeah.
but you went back home and say, well, I'm going to double down on what's happening and save up and keep pushing forward, which is great. Did your
Huge.
parents charge you rent?
They did not charge me rent.
My parents never did. But,
I was, yeah.
like,
I was on scholarship for college, and I had a brother who was older than me who had lived at home for a time, and I think they always tried really hard to keep things even. I tried to contribute and be,
100%.
but yeah, that was one of the greatest privileges of my life,
But I think for your parents' standpoint, I'm going to speak for your parents right now. You're not home doing nothing.
Right, right.
You're not home just like hanging out, maybe going to work. You're as a teacher, like they see maybe long hours, you coming home late,
Right.
not coming home from maybe a bar or a club or what that case
Exactly.
is. They
yeah.
see you putting the effort in. You're going in on a Saturday, whatever it is. And that's what my parents saw. They saw like, okay, it's cool. You can live home for
Yeah.
free. Plus we're Italian. We always stay together. But
Well, and
but
that's
it's not you're not a
normalized,
leech.
yeah,
You're not
yeah.
leeching, and you would do the same thing for your kid.
And so that is it. I will do the same thing for my son. And if I'm able to, I will continue to pay forward anything I can, because that point of my life was one of the defining things.
that was
I
the-
had a nest egg. Like,
Does that sound good?
I mean, like, what are we gonna do?
But is the audio clear?
I mean, like, you guys are clear. It's kind of hard to tell because honestly, it's louder outside than it is in the headphones.
All right, let's give it like
he
2
might
minutes.
be done in just a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
let's give it a minute.
It's unbelievable. There's
I
like
got God, we're right at the highlight moment.
I'm right about to spill my first Zillow find.
How much time we have right now? What are we at? 40?
40?
No, we're up to
You're up to 40 minutes?
35.
35? Told you.
I'm
How you feeling?
good. Yeah, this is fun.
I
I'm
told
talking
you.
about myself
You're
all day
gonna
long.
be addicted to
apparently.
it. You're like, fuck, when's Dan come back?
That
And
is
we're
bad.
back live here.
We could do a funny edit.
Leaf blower man. Dan can't stand the leaf blower man guy. That was too much. You're trying too much, Dan. Cut the shit out. Okay. I'll prompt it back up.
All right, hold on.
It's okay.
Am I messing up the mic? At one point I touched it. That's fine, right?
Just don't touch it, because what's going to happen is going to be like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Okay.
All right, we're good. You're living at home.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously not leeching off your parents. Your parents are seeing that you're not just going out to late night clubs, bars. You're working, and
Yeah.
you're taking full advantage of what the opportunity is in front of you. So you said you had kind of like this big, I guess, moment where you were living at home, and where did that go essentially? Like, so you looked on Zillow, you were in Alabama.
Yes. So, and
Were you living at home? So let me ask you a little bit better. Were you living at home when you went to Alabama?
no, because I had gotten married.
Gotcha.
And that's part that we're not going to have in it.
No, that's fine. We could skip over
And
that.
that's the hard part, because my ex was with me through some of the stuff. Again, he was a teacher too,
Of
so
course.
he was involved with it. But like, I wrote the curriculum. He was a special ed teacher, so like
Okay.
he didn't really contribute to that. He had a background in sales, so he was the one who did more of like the behind the scenes sales stuff initially.
Gotcha.
And I think, yeah.
So
There's not really, and that's why I tried to say like I had some help and some people, but because I don't want to discredit, like I didn't do this all by myself, but like
You
I did
ha-
most of it by myself. Damn it, like
to be real and honest is that life happens,
Mm-hmm.
but there are people there to help you. It sounds like you did help and propel this into the direction
Yeah.
that you wanted to happen.
Yeah.
And things don't always work out, and that's just the reality of things.
Right,
But
yeah.
but how do we obtain the property? Well, let's go down
okay,
the
yeah,
route.
we'll go back to, because I feel good about disclosing all that information because it is all exactly how it happened.
Of course.
So yeah, so prompt me back in. You said, so.
How did you get the first rental property?
Okay, so when I was there in Alabama and I got on Zillow, I was in a really unique position because it was circa 2014,
What's that?
around 2014. So it was,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the year 2014. So It was a weird time in Gulf Coast property because there was the 2010 oil spill.
Oh my God, I totally forgot. That's the BP one, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And then there was a really bad hurricane that had come through that area. So that area was just, it's a very condo heavy area. So it wasn't like a bunch of like nice luxury vacation homes. It was just condos, not hotels, condos, privately owned, usually made for an investment or a second vacation location that people can go. But yeah, I mean, primarily condos, these small stretches of beach, and that's how it goes for that whole panhandle of Florida. And so this was just such a new concept to me. So I realized what was happening there, and I got online on Zillow and found a, I guess it was considered condemned. Because,
Interesting.
yeah, because the city was redoing the railings, right? So in my head, this is an opportunity. So the railings were being redone on all the condos because they weren't to code. And they needed to update the codes because I think there had been a couple issues where there was some safety, you know.
Ooh, we're talking about safety?
Yeah, oh yeah. let's plug that in.
So you want to fix the rails? Yes.
Yeah. So what happened was there was this one little listing that was just stood out to me. It looked beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, how could I ever, you know, afford this? I had my meager little nest egg I
Can
had
you
set
disclose
aside.
the amount?
So it was in the upper 90s, $90,000 for a one or two bedroom, one bath condo, right? Again, 2014.
I know, you can say whatever you want. Keep going. It's a house.
And so again, on my teacher salary, my coach's salary, which for each sport I coached, I got a like a $500 to $800 stipend for the entire season.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and my parents actually, they had one mortgage. They still had a mortgage on the house that I grew up in, and they were gracious enough to co-sign for me. And so I put in an offer. Got a little antsy about that offer. Didn't know I wasn't supposed to do this. Called the realtor and
Which
said,
realtor did you call?
So I didn't realize the difference at the time.
A buyer's agent and a seller's
Yeah,
agent.
so I had communicated with both of them.
Okay, well.
Well, then they jacked the price up another $2,000, and I had to
Because
pay
they got
the
together,
difference.
because they brought
so
up the
that
commission.
is something that I learned the hard way, but luckily
Good,
it was,
but that's good information. For people
Yeah.
that don't know out there,
It can happen, yeah.
so I actually did that too. I stepped over my real estate agent and one of my first properties, and I went directly to the seller.
Yeah.
And my buyer's agent, luckily she's cool. Melissa's cool. And she's like, she wasn't happy about that I did that, but we locked up the deal.
Right.
But you know, it's you. If you hire an agent, they're your agent. So
Right,
and you got to respect that boundary. It's like an attorney. I'm not, if I'm gonna, you know, hire an attorney, I'm not gonna go to the attorney and the other attorney that I'm talking to is like, hey, how you guys doing? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
let's talk about numbers here. But yes, it's like that. It's you didn't know.
And that's what happens with Zillow. You know, you have access to the buyer's agent.
Of course,
And so I believe at that time I hadn't even, maybe I don't think I had submitted the offer yet, but I hadn't solidified my realtor yet. I don't know how that worked, but whatever it was, I remember knowing I messed up because it was like, dang, they learned. But also something she did that was completely unethical was told me they were, and you don't have to include this, but they told me they were aging and needing to get out of this condo, and they actually turned around and went and bought a different one down the street that was nicer. So like gave me the whole sob story and all that. But anyway, so best thing that ever happened to me on my real estate journey. So I'll still remember the day I closed too on it.
I just love that you're smiling, by the way. Yeah. I love you smiling because you're gonna screw up.
Yeah. Oh,
You're gonna mess up. I have this story right now that happened last week. You want to hear a $1,000 story of a scam that happened to me?
Sure, yeah, that's always a good one.
I know I'm pivoting from your story, but this is
I
just
love
like
it.
it's just one of these things. Is what you're expressing to me, the mess up and everything. It's okay.
Yeah.
So what happened is that my tenant calls me. He's like, Dad, I got a wasp nest. I go see the wasp nest. Wow, got a bunch of them, and then right after that, it was a Monday. He calls me Wednesday. Dan, are you able to take care of the wasp nest? Like, yes, I'm gonna take care of it. Mm-hmm. I get busy. Friday comes. I'm like, he messaged me, Dan, are you gonna take care of the wasp nest? I was like, yes, I'm gonna take care of it. Well, Sunday rolls around. and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And I get a text, Dan, I'm really sorry to keep bothering you. Sweet guy though. The wasp nest. I'm like, fuck. And it's like, fuck. Pull my phone out. I type in pest control. It's 8 o'clock. I'm like half in and out, and I'm scrolling through. Call us number, not answering. Call us number, voicemail. Call us number. We don't do Sundays. Call us number. You gotta call back Monday. Call us one guy. Hello? Oh, got a guy. Got a guy on the phone. Finally. Hey, are you able to go to this address? Yeah, spell it for me. The guy was very hesitant. He's like, and I'm trying to spell the name, and it's a very well-known name in New York. It's called Patchogue.
Okay.
I tell him that Patchogue, like if you heard Patchogue to a Long Islander, they know the area. But he didn't, like he was really like digging through how to spell this name. I'm like, I guess maybe he's not too bright. Whatever. I'm not bright right now, so maybe he's not bright. Anyway, goes to the location, right? And he sends me a text saying, no, he calls me, he goes, yeah, to remove the wasp nest, it costs $225. And I'm like, why the hell is this so much money? Maybe it's just because it's super dangerous. And I'm like, Anyway, I'm like, okay, fine, do it. So he sends me, okay, I'm gonna Zelle you. Are you gonna Zelle me? He sends me a text message saying, Zelle at this number. And then he went $825 and then tax $899. I pick up the phone and I call him back. I'm like, okay, how's your math here?
Right.
I'm like, how's your math here? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you want tax on a Zelle? It's cash. Why am I paying you tax? And where are you getting this increase? What calculation are you doing? I said, you know what? I'm coming down there. I had my son. Alexa was out with Alina. I had my son. I was like, I'm about to throw him in the car, drive an hour to my rental property. He's like, no, you don't have to come down here. We'll just do it for $825. Just send me the money. I'm like, okay. Zelle him the money. He puts the whole suit on. My tenant tells me he takes one wasp nest out and leaves. My tenant calls me back. He's like, Dan, he didn't take anything out really. He took out like the one, and he looked like he was scared shitless. So I text him like, send me an invoice of what you did. Wrong number. I don't know who you're talking to.
Oh my goodness.
I screenshot the whole thing. I send it back to him. That's not you. That's not me, man. It's your phone number. It's mimicking. Both phone numbers are mimicking. So what I'm trying to say is this, and the way I am, I'm like, I got duped.
Yeah.
I
it
got
happens.
scammed, and I didn't waste another second on it. Because I'm past those points now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the growing pains of that. Like, I didn't even tell Alexa till like 5 days later. Not because I didn't want to tell Alexa. It was just like, oh, this is what happened. She's like, why didn't you tell me that? I'm like, I'm not wasting my time and energy. Not to discredit, like $1,000 is a lot of money. Because what happened, well, it's not, what happened was the next day I called a legitimate pest company. They did it all for $200.
Yeah, there you go.
And that was the whole $1,000
Yeah.
learning lesson. But like your story, $2,000, and in Alabama, very different price difference, 2014. So yes, it is a little bit of a burn, but it's a burn it's like the
I
price
still
of
had to
admission.
take it. Yeah.
It's the price of admission.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and actually, I hadn't thought about that part of the story in a while. So, but yeah, it's part of the game, right? If you're making deals like these, or having to coordinate, or having to contract people, there's gonna be hiccups, right? And you just have to make sure you're prepared to handle those. So, but
It's risk assessment. So you bought the property. Now, what happens when we bought this? Did we bring it up to code? Like what
oh
did we
yeah,
do?
yeah. So they got new decks installed
Okay.
and all that stuff. It was all fine. Everything went great. And then it was just, yeah, it was furnished. I never made it into a luxury rental or anything like that, because most of the time when you buy a condo or an Airbnb, you can easily get something that's furnished.
So, but Airbnb wasn't around back then?
I did my first year on VRBO, so.
Oh, okay. That was around before Airbnb?
Well, no, Airbnb did exist, but it was more looked at as like the couch surfer deal. And then, so what happened was the next year I got into another property. It was a little foreclosure that was literally a studio condo.
So you got the bug. You're making
Yes.
money on it. Now you're seeing this as a tool, and now
Yep.
it looks like you just swung into the. You didn't even give me a chance to even break down your story.
Sorry.
You're right. No, it's fine. No, but you swung into the next one.
Yeah, yep, and that was probably 10 months later. So, and it wasn't because I had bukus of money, it was because I didn't leverage that property using that, because it was.
Oh, you didn't really?
It was.
Did you know about it, or
Do you want to know how much this one cost?
Yeah, go shoot me.
$30,000.
Well.
So it was back in the day, you used to be able to get some little condotels and things like that. And this was a very unique property where it was in a resort in the mountains. And it was had high amenities. So yeah, it was a cheap property, but it had high HOAs. But with that came pools, hot tubs, and all that stuff. Fantastic for
But
for an
so when
Airbnb.
you did these deals, did you have a calculator? How did you do the math? How
I
did you
just
figure this out?
I just went with it. I put it on paper.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I knew. I remember when I first started, because I did all the management myself when I first started. The reason that happened was because my friend who I worked with in Alabama, his wife was a property manager. She stepped in, was going to help me initially, and I love her, but she gave me the confidence to do it.
Hell yeah.
She took
You need
on
somebody like that.
yeah, and so she definitely helped with those first few listings, and then she went on vacation or something, and I was so tight on money that I was like, I have to start doing this myself. I can't. I have to do this myself. And
Yeah.
we weren't under contract or anything. She was a friend helping a friend.
Of
I still
course.
continued to help her husband. Like,
course.
it was a great relationship. But so that was the happy accident that turned me into an Airbnb host.
Hell yeah. So
And
that was the second. So what?
that was the first one. So that was
was the
back when
fir-
I was doing the first one. And then that was such a success. I was baffled. And then I got my second one.
What are you at?
What's that?
How many you got?
Well, it's changed. So at one point I had like 6, 7 at one time, but that's too many now. Now that I have a family, with me and Ricky having like properties at home that we work on,
Yeah.
we're down to 4. So
It's
I
the
don't know if he wants me to say that number in it.
All
but
right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, because
okay.
he had
So
said, I think,
we'll reprompt the conversation. So
yeah.
so you got a bunch of the Airbnbs now, and it just seems like it. I don't know how to. We'll cut that out.
Well, we can still use some of it. I
No,
don't.
no, no. I don't want to use the number. If he doesn't want the number, no. Let's.
Well, I don't know. He had
No,
just
no, that's
said
fine.
something.
No, I get it. So, so from there, from the Airbnbs, you know, how, so like, I heard your curriculum took like way off. Like, was that like kind of the next like thing? So you got these.
Yeah, it's side by side, right? So like, and the reason for continuing to operate both of them was, I love the curriculum side of things, but again, I don't love the business side of things as much. You know, I loved teaching. I love science. I love science education. It's a very important thing, and it's just,
I understand.
I'm not somebody who wants to be a CEO of a curriculum company. I've never wanted to scale it so huge where I'm away all the time working on it, right?
No.
So the Airbnbs kind of became almost like the retirement plan. They're the exit strategy, right?
Hell yeah.
Everything I do has an exit strategy. Whether it's
So with the curriculum, is it still just you and your husband right now, just running it?
yeah.
So no CEO, it's just you two.
Yeah, and really at this point it's pretty much, Ricky will definitely help with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, it's a well-oiled machine. Times are a little different than it used to be. Just, you never know what's going to go on politically. But yeah, we're trying to keep it going and enjoying it and making it something that's great for our family, but not something that consumes us either, right? So, which kind of brings me to my next, like, my main philosophy in life is something I've always said is I've never been money motivated, because I didn't grow up with, I grew up with privilege. I'm not going to deny that. I grew up with a wonderful family who was supportive. We didn't have everything we wanted, but we had what we needed, you know?
You explained it in the pool story.
Yes.
Your parents were conservative, but then when they got money, I want to give this to my kids, I want to give this to the family, and that's also the mindset. The same thing goes for me. My father is he is so well off. He's been, he still works. He doesn't need to work, but he still works because he has nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And he can literally buy anything he wants. He's in Italy right now.
That's awesome.
But you know what he drives?
What?
A 1995 Honda
There you go.
CR-V.
Yeah.
It works. He goes, it works.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting around driving a new truck. And he's like, it works. It's fine.
Yeah. That's a
He-
good mentality to
He
have.
just like, and my parents really grew up in Sicily in poverty, like really hard times. My grandparents went through World War II, where like, whoever got the first pair of shoes coming down the stairs that's who's getting shoes.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
it's
story.
naturally like that. So it's like I understand where you're coming at,
Yeah.
because obviously now your life has been very blessed, because I see, you know, what you and your husband are able to do now is, you know, and I think I want to save that story for you and Ricky, because what they do is what do you got? What do you got? What's parked over there?
We finally got my van life, baby. That's our second child. The reason I'm not allowed to
Is it
have a
all
second
cracked up to
child.
be?
It's everything I ever hoped it would be.
So it holds up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're
And
the way
it's-
your face is looking. You're
Yeah,
like, yeah.
that's my passion in life. If I hadn't met Ricky, I'd probably be in some beat up van living in
Well,
a field in Arizona right now.
I remember.
so.
I don't know. It was like the last time I think before. I think all we. I think we didn't have kids yet. Everybody was pregnant. I think it was.
Yeah.
Everybody was pregnant, and we came to North Carolina, and the van was sitting there, and you're just like, yeah, that's my little pet project.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I look at your Instagram, like, oh, I'm in Yosemite. I'm in some type of exotic
Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's been the highlight of everything we've done. And that's what I was gonna say is
No,
I've
go
never
ahead, yeah,
been money motivated. I've been freedom motivated. Now
I love that.
and that's why I mean we could probably have more opportunity where we go and hustle and work all
But it's not
Ricky
about
and I
that.
both put our time in to where we're kind of getting to reap the rewards a little bit now. Both in our separate careers, both in our paths leading up. You know, when I met Ricky, he had his house projects done. We've done one complete remodel on one of the rental condos together. It's just when I met him, it was just finding that partner to really solidify everything you've worked toward.
Of course.
Which is so cool. And then he is he's the driver of the Winnebago up there, so he's the reason that those dreams have come true for me as well. So he's willing to get us across the country.
You guys never seemed that way, and I knew Ricky before you guys met, and like I knew Ricky was well off, but he just never was about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
you want to hear something crazy what Ricky did, and I'm going to mention this on the podcast.
I'm
So too
excited.
bad, Ricky. You're gonna get. So I had my bachelor party in Las Vegas, and I barely knew Ricky. I maybe hung out with him like twice.
It's back
And-
when the Dan and Ricky love
Oh yeah,
Love
he's
Fest
still in love.
began.
He's still in love with me. But I want to bring up the story because it's good. It's just like Ricky's just such a guy's guy, and he didn't care. He just wanted to make sure that everybody was taken care of. But he like covered our table at one of the biggest pool parties, and he like threw a lot. I'm not gonna mention the number, but let's say he covered a big chunk of the bill.
Yeah, yeah.
Barely knew this guy, and I'm
Yeah.
like. But he's just like, he never showed off about it. But he would just take care of.
Yeah.
He just take care of you, and I guess I know he loves me. So.
Yeah. No, he has always been very generous with that, and he
Yeah.
will work so hard for other people.
I see that. I absolutely see that with him.
Yeah, and I will say that everything he has completely built himself.
We went through the house, and I'm sorry we brought the film crew in.
Oh
but
yeah, y'all are gonna do that again tomorrow morning.
We'll do it again tomorrow morning. We'll get the cleanup.
Nah, it really wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't
but
bad.
It
But
would look
we're
better.
just so blown away by his work.
He's incredibly talented.
He really is.
And he's self-taught. He's
Isn't that
he's
so
incredible.
crazy?
He's incredible, and yeah, you know, he had a very, very modest upbringing, and very, you know, I don't think ever pictured this type of life for himself.
No.
And again, you know, we're not financially free by any means. You know, we've just made really good decisions, and we've had a lot of luck on our side too. And part of that does mean taking opportunity up whenever it's there. You know, it's not always the time to buy, but somewhere it is, you know?
Well, I have different I'm a little bit different. I always find, yes, you're right about that. It's got to depend on location, how you do it, when's the right time to buy. Of course, your strategies do change. The other thing too is like me, you've been watching me now too. It's like I've been like given a lot of freedom where I'm able to excel, and I love personally working still. And I'll never, like people's like, the question is like, when are you gonna retire?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm never gonna retire.
Do what works for you. Yeah,
But now I am reaping the benefits now.
yeah,
And I've been spending a little bit more money.
yeah,
And I've been taking care of certain things that I wanted done around the house.
yeah.
And it's okay. And it's like finding that balance too, because I can
Right.
easily spend a crap load of money for no reason, but still be like, I want to be part of this hustle game. I still want to build something. But you do have a lot more freedom though, you would
Yeah.
have to say. And I've been getting that too, and you earned it.
Yeah.
You absolutely earned it, and hearing your whole story and everything, it's and for God's sakes, Ricky, that guy's out of his mind.
Well, and I will say, out of every property we have, whether it's the ones we live in, work out of, or that we rent short term, he has done a significant, if not total, renovation on the entire thing pretty much by himself. And I know.
Does he have anybody do any of his work?
Not usually. I mean, unless there's like a specific
An actual like,
coded thing, but no, usually, like right when we got together, we purchased a condo that was in an area I was already familiar with because I had hosted there before. It was a coastal town in North Carolina. We found one that we could afford because it was a shell, and it actually couldn't even qualify for an FHA loan because it wasn't complete. And so Ricky and I went out there,
Bought it for
laid some
cash?
peel and stick floor. When our realtor gave us early access, we didn't have it yet. We fixed the door to be to their specs because it needed a hurricane door. We replaced it with a slider door we had here at our house, and we brought that one home and got the glass replaced, and took it back out there. So all to this condo we didn't even own, which sounds so stupid, but boy, it's the only way we got that deal. And it was an incredible deal. It's been one of the best financial investments we've made, and we wouldn't have been able to afford it at the price that it's at now, at that time. And it's because of Ricky's work and his ingenuity and his creativity. It's been phenomenal to be able to partner with him and do that type of stuff.
100%.
So, yeah, but we could go until the wheels fall off.
No,
but
we can. We can. We definitely covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
but you're not getting off this podcast without a little fun, like real fun. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, I'm just going to give you the questions. You got to
Okay.
give me the answers, okay?
Why is this the first time I've been nervous the whole time?
What's your favorite movie?
Ooh. Oh, see, I'm not a good fast question answer.
Well, we got time. We'll chop it
Okay,
up. Don't
hold on.
worry.
Okay.
So let me tell you this. Make you feel a little bit better. Every time I do this, people don't answer as quick as they think I would. But
Okay.
I still got it. What's your favorite
Okay.
movie? What's a movie that comes on, you're like, I just got to watch it?
There's so many different categories for favorite movie, but my first instinct is to say Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
It's a very...
You're a Game of Thrones. You're a Game of Thrones fan?
I kind of only have space in my head for Lord of the Rings and
That was it?
and
That's
Harry
what it took
Potter.
up the... Yeah.
Yeah, so I have watched Game of Thrones, but yeah, I'm not the diehard that a lot of people are.
Favorite book?
Oh,
Or better yet, let me ask you this one. If you had to tell somebody to read a book right now, what book would you recommend right now?
I don't read novels that make me into a better person.
Oh, you're not one of those? All right, so it's pleasure.
I do, but you know what? I love Harry Potter. I love easy
Hell yeah,
reads.
why not?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, if I had to pick, the best one is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Always is.
Yeah.
Always classic choice one. Favorite color?
Purple. Right now.
Right now? Oh, that changes?
Maybe. Yeah. It was pink for a while. I'm not pink anymore. Teal. Teal's the answer.
That's a good one. What's your favorite ice cream?
Vanilla.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is teal.
Okay, you're confident in that one.
Yes, I'm very confident in
Okay.
that answer.
What's your, if you got one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, probably it'd have to be to fly. I mean, come on.
I like that one.
Yeah, because you can travel anywhere you want to go.
You just like want to, when you go in those mountains, you just want to be able to just jump off and stuff.
Yeah, and then I'd be a lot less afraid of some of the trails we do. 'Cause some of those terrify
Would you scope out properties that way?
Ooh, who needs a drone? You don't need a drone anymore.
Oh my God, you could fly.
An iPhone and a superpower.
You eat hamburgers, right?
Yes, I typically eat veggie burgers. So.
Okay, so let's go with veggie burgers.
Okay.
So when you order a veggie burger and you get French fries, do you eat the burger first, then the French fries, or do you eat the French fries first and then the burger, or do you eat them both together?
Oh, come on. It's an even mix. And then I do something called a grand finale bite. I eat all the way around. This has been like a thing of mine since I was a kid. I eat everything from the outside, working my way in, making sure you have the exact right ratio of all the good stuff left on the burger. That is the grand finale bite. I do it with everything. Yep.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm never gonna have that last little crusty
I think I'm
going to
start eating burgers completely different.
Yep.
You have
Do it.
rocked my world.
Work your way in.
That was probably the best information you probably could have told today. When you put your socks on and your shoes, do you put one sock, one shoe on, then one sock on and another shoe?
Who puts one sock on and
A
then
psychopath.
one
I just
shoe?
want to
Yeah.
know. I'm going to ask Ricky that, and he probably is going to answer that, and
Oh.
that's what I'm going to figure out whether
That's
he's
how
a
you identify the psychopath.
Yes, that
Okay.
was the whole point. Netflix or Hulu?
No, Netflix. Yeah.
Everybody says Netflix.
Yeah.
Favorite Gatorade color?
Orange.
Beaches or mountains?
Beaches with mountains behind them. They
You're
exist.
due to come to Sicily because that's
Yeah,
where we're at. You got to
know.
come to my beach house.
It's on
What do you
the
call
list.
cheese that's not yours?
I mean, nacho cheese.
Yeah. Well, some people don't. There's an Alexa question
Okay, I'm looking forward to this one.
because she made me put this one in there. How do you make a tissue dance?
Put a little boogie in it.
Can you make any animal sounds? If so, do it.
Oh.
Can you make any animal sounds?
I have a 3-year-old son, so I make a lot of them. I guess the one I do the most is an elephant, which is.
Let's hear it.
So there you go. And you have to do the trunk. I forgot
Yes.
that part.
I like that. Do you have a secret talent? I know you paddleboard, you do a lot of stuff, but what's your secret talent? Like people really don't know about.
Oh, that's a hard one. Plan road trips. It's maybe one of my best skills, but plan a really bomb road trip.
What is something you can live without? And don't say Ricky and your son.
What? It's something I can live without?
Yeah, what is something you cannot live without?
Cannot live without. I was like,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
I don't get that.
I'm sorry. I said, but don't say Ricky and your son because the people
okay.
like they family.
So something I can't live
Like you
without.
need it. You know, you just like your life. You need it.
Oh, I mean, the obvious answer is my family, my parents, they're my best friends.
But that's I'm talking about like for me like it would be like coffee.
Okay.
I can't live without coffee. Like I just can't.
Vacations. Travel. Like cool, weird travel.
That's a good
what
one.
I can't live
Yeah,
without.
so you always want to travel. What was your first email address?
The same one I have now.
What is it?
Can I put that out there? I don't want to get a bunch of spam,
Nah, I forgot it.
but it involves my name, and it's very
gotcha.
simple because I got on the boat early.
I got the original Gmail account. I got danielgiambrone@gmail.com. I got on the signing list when Google first announced it.
That's awesome.
Yep. Have you ever played Mario Kart before?
Yeah.
Okay, what character do you use?
I prefer Yoshi, but somehow
Very
someone-
popular answer.
Yeah,
Yoshi's a very
because he's the fastest, the best.
Okay.
He's maneuverability, speed, takes those corners well.
What is the strangest thing in your fridge right now?
The most disgusting thing in my fridge was like the old pickled beets I threw out this morning.
So it's no longer there, but it
No,
was
it's
there.
not there anymore.
Was that in your where we're staying?
Yeah, I don't have any like weird foods.
Alright.
Strangest thing in the fridge.
That sounds strange enough.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Sorry, that was a bad answer.
Whatever. Guilty pleasure song comes on the radio, whatever it comes on, you're singing.
Probably Spice Girls, So You'll Be There.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What's like an overrated food? Like somebody says, you're like, ugh. Like it's just like it's there's too much behind it. Like
I like most food, so that's a tough one. I don't know, like a bloomin' onion or something. Like those are good, but not worth the hype.
I follow you. I try not to ask this question to women, but I'm just gonna ask it to
Oh,
you because I
good.
can. Would you rather be sexy or smart?
Oh, smart all the way.
All right. Well, at least you're not.
I'm
What's your-
goofy as hell anyway, so that doesn't matter.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, scraping things across concrete.
Gets in the
Yeah.
ears?
Yeah, like you go to a pool or something or somewhere in public and people just drag their chairs out across the concrete. I can't do it.
Gotcha. What was the biggest risk you ever taken?
Quitting my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep,
What a great line.
that's got to be it.
And this is the final question because it's just the question I have to ask everybody. You probably will answer correctly, but it's like more of a New York thing that happens. What do you call the red sauce that goes on pasta?
Oh no. I mean, marinara sauce?
No, that's fine. So what do you call it? So you call it sauce? You call it,
I call it marinara sauce.
but you don't use the word gravy.
No, I do not.
Okay,
That's weird.
that's what I need to clarify.
Yeah.
Because if you said gravy, the podcast is over and I'm walking out of here and I'm hopping on a plane.
That's something people do? Why would
In
they
New
do
York,
that?
yes.
But it's
Somehow.
not gravy. Gravy's
not-
an entirely different like emulsion.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to be. It stresses my heart.
Yes.
Rachel, I cannot thank you enough. I love you. I think you're an incredible individual. I'm so happy that I get to be a part of your life, your
Thank you,
husband's life,
Danny.
your son's life, my kids' lives get to be a part of their lives.
Absolutely. We're grateful for all that too
And
with you.
I'm really I love the fact that we share this incredible friendship mindset, and thank you for rooting for me, by the way. I see you on Instagram. You're definitely one of the rooters and my fans out there, and I can't thank you enough what you said on this podcast. And before we sign off on this podcast, to anybody out there, it could be about teaching, it could be about real estate, it could be about life, it could be about whatever, and you could look at the camera and say it. Give them a good message out there.
Okay. I'll try to do my best with that. One thing I will say too, with you bringing up about rooting for you, is I've read that quote that's circled on social media. It says, surround yourself with people who fight for you in rooms you're not in. And I love that quote because a lot of times I know you do find that whenever you take a different path. And we're really happy for you. We're really excited for you.
Thank you
And
so
we'll always
much.
be fighting for you even when you're not there. So.
I know you are.
Yeah, so as far as what we do and kind of what I think our whole life is about, it sounds cheesy, but chase your dreams. My dad gave me really great advice my entire life growing up, and it was that you create your own reality.
Ooh.
And you do, not only with your mindset, but with what you're willing to put out there. For me, it was easy to walk away from a low-paying job for something that had potential in my future. It's not always easy for someone with a higher paying job to do that, so that's something I'm grateful for. But if you prove the concept and you're willing to take the risk and you're willing to put in the work, it's almost always going to work out. But because it's not 100% guarantee, you've always got to have an exit strategy, and as long as you have that exit strategy, you're good to go.
What an incredible message. Guys, that is it for our podcast. One of a kind. We'll see you next time.